let's get into the industry heads of things. This is something that I've been trying not to talk about because I don't like being that guy. You know what I mean? Because if you want it to end, bringing more and more attention to it doesn't really help because it just kind of breeds more of it more often than not. But something that a lot of people probably don't know, obviously outside of the industry immediately, is that there is this, especially on the retail side of things. I can't speak to the manufacturing and cultivation side. You would know better than I do. But there is this high school, even middle school playground level petty tactics that get people engage in on the retail side of things that honestly I think is unnecessary, especially in our area in Newton. I mean, it's so compared to like, Bloomfields, the Newarks, the Trenton, Jersey City. Those are actually getting oversaturated, and I understand having to stoop to those levels to do something to get ahead of the competition immediately around everybody. But where we are, there's a lot of room for the two of us that are here right now. But I think it holds the industry back in a way because we haven't even begun to reach the maturity that the industry is going to reach. It's only been, 3.5 years at this point?
Something like that, like 4 years.
We're not even close to where it's going in terms of like the peak of this industry in New Jersey. And to get to that point, it also relies on a maturity from an emotional standpoint. There's a moral and emotional maturity that has to come in the operation of things and the actual upkeep of the businesses. And if you're going to engage in stuff like this, I just think it puts a pause in place, a block for what could be a very straight trajectory.
So I understand like the need for it, like you said, like in a market that's like very overly saturated, things like that. But when you're in a town that only has 2 dispensaries in it, and I'm saying 2 because like technically the other one that's like in town technically isn't in town. They're in Andover.
Right. And they're great people, by the way.
Yeah, I like their spot. You know, shout out to everybody that feels the green. But to ask for exclusivity in a town that only has 1 other dispensary in it is kind of just like okay. And then to circle around as the company that accepts this is just like really. Like,
yeah,
okay.
there's we're not going to name names obviously, but I mean there's an onus on.
Oh, you're better than me because shoot, you're better than me and Cole. You better than both of us.
No, I know, but I mean, look,
Lord.
everyone. I don't want to. Again, I don't want to be petty.
It's not.
I know you. I know.
It's honestly the month that we've had getting ready for 420.
No, I know.
That just made it to the point where I'm like, I never wanted to be petty. And then after the incident after incident after incident, and then this one was like 2 days after another one after an incident we just had. So it was like, okay, so fuck me then. It's just it's just fuck me. Fuck what I got going on. Fuck what I'm trying to plan. Because like I'm placing orders for you guys like 2 weeks ago, a week ago, plus ago, with that week's budget in mind.
A lot of planning.
Changing how I'm planning.
A lot of planning went into
buying accordingly, and then circle back around 2 weeks later. It's like, oh, I'm not getting this. It's like, okay, but like,
and then when you hear the reason why,
do I get that money back to like put towards something else? Like, am I just missing that part of my budget now? We have to focus on something else. Like, the fact that you guys are messing with what I'm trying to do here is a problem. Like, it would be annoying when I was on like the other side of things before. It was like, okay, like. Yeah, but like,
does that really exist as much in cultivation?
Like, I mean that more of like as like a bud tender.
Oh, well,
where it's like, okay, we're not getting this company in, but like I'm not the one sitting here really dealing with it.
Right.
And now that I'm the one dealing with it, it's like, oh no. See,
it's different when you're the one getting the phone call. Yeah, when you're the one who has to get the phone call.
And then to have the audacity to send me a menu the following week. I wanted to go off so badly, and I was like, I'm just gonna be mature about this.
I thought you were talking about someone else when you said that.
When you told
me who it was, I was like, wow.
The email, I was like, There is no way. There is no way you told me you have to cancel my order after we sat here. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I understand that you're a client of yours. I'm willing to be nice. You know, we can
And
you know,
we
blah,
did
blah,
have
blah.
that
And
conversation.
then and that's the shitty part. To double back, tell them after saying, "Oh yeah, you know, I'm down to play nice, blah blah. We can we can do this whole thing, but cool." And now to double back, once I actually place my order and be like, "Yeah, like I'll cancel my contract and like force their hand," is egregious.
That's egregious.
And honestly,
It would be, look,
and realistically speaking, even if they did cancel their contract, you would be going with us, the other dispensary in town. So it's like, do you really lose anything? No. I just like that. I think of it as more of like if I mean, it's always going to come down to who has more money to spend. But at the same time, I've also been very active and keeping an eye on certain things. And if I don't see certain things pop up on the menu, oh yeah, I'm someone might get a phone call from me and be like, hey, so the fuck is this?
yeah.
Because you circled back, told me you had to cancel my order a week after I already, said whatever it was, and pretty much a couple of days after you said, I was going to get it, and we were talking about like all this and other stuff. Why are they not on your menu for 420? Like it's been a
Right.
week.
If you're
Since
gonna
you
do
told,
something like
been a
that,
week since
if
you told
it's
me.
such an important account,
Yeah.
if it's such an important account,
Yeah, so if that's the case, like, fuck is this? Because now I'm gonna take that disrespectfully. So now my people that are open, my people that I know that are opening up dispensaries and everything else, I'm gonna tell them not to work with you. That's just flat out the way it is. I'm gonna tell them not to work with you because that's shady. Because now I'm gonna start them talk to them and be like, hey, so are they working around, another dispensary around you? Yeah, you might not want to go with them because they might, shice you out of, an order after you've already placed it, and then you're sitting here waiting for your stuff, and they got to circle back like, oh yeah, I can't work with you because I'm more above you people. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
you know what it really is more than anything? It's just disappointing. For me, like I know it sounds like a fucking,
I like the company too.
but I mean on everyone's side because to engage in that kind of, I mean, first of all, we're not playing fucking Game of Thrones over here. We're all just trying to, especially in this industry specifically, there's
There's only 2 of us in town.
but
You
even
make it seem
that,
like we're Jersey City.
I see it, I guess, differently than I guess a lot of people who get into this business or who decided to see it. I am honestly, it's like a group Little Engine who could sort of vibe as far as the cannabis community is concerned. From where it's come from the rock it had to crawl from underneath to get, I mean, like the product of cannabis as an industry. The lengths that have had to been gone through, the steps that had to be taken to get to the point where it's recreational, it can be sold, it can be treated in the way that it has to be treated or deserves to be treated. To me, I've always gone about it in this effort of like, we're all in this together. Aren't we all in this together to a certain degree? Isn't that what a lot of this industry is? It's a really us kind of all getting our arm around the chain and pulling that boulder up the hill as a group. It only works if we're not cannibalizing ourselves. Did that exist really? Because you were in is that really a thing on like the cultivation side of things? Because I just don't know. I'm not in those rooms. I only know of how it's being handled retail wise.
I mean,
is there that same?
I mean, I would say like it's not like that, but obviously the major retailers give their the product goes to their stores at a much
right,
significantly lower rate than like anybody else. So like that sense, like they're just giving their stuff away as pennies. Like a sense, like the best at that. They fully integrated.
yeah,
To the point where they can throw the other products on as cheap add-ons, things like that, because they also own everything, but they still buy other people's product too to
right.
sell. But like I say, with that's probably but like it's really not much to what I experienced. Like I didn't really there wasn't much of like
Was there like a bit of whiplash, like when you went from the cultivation side of things, where for the most part it is this feeling of like we're all in this together to a degree, like we're kind of like a family in that we're all trying to get this industry on its legs
well,
in
yeah,
that
there
way.
was still competition between cultivators.
There's
But like,
competition,
yeah,
but
like I would say that's a lot more friendly.
healthy competition,
I would say
healthy, constructive
I would say
competition.
on the cultivation side,
Right.
it's a little more friendly and like I guess lighthearted because like
Right.
you're really with the plants and it's really hard to be mad in there
Right.
when you're with all these plants. So like on that end of things,
Yeah, it must be
yeah, it's
beautiful. Like
probably
like you're in there every day. It's like being in
yeah,
the Garden of
it's a
Eden.
different experience
Yeah,
though being being outside a store and like being on a farm.
right.
So, but yeah, like in that sense, yeah, but like stores are way too.
And I think it just puts out a bad image as far as the industry as a whole is concerned. It makes us still seem and be viewed in this childish kind of light, where if we want to be thought of as serious players in the economy and the retail world, just in general, when it eventually hopefully goes federal, we can't be seen as these kids playing in the sandbox that can't fucking get along. Like we're gonna need to be able to hold our own in ways that don't resort in water cooled politic level, Game of Thrones in the garden behind King's Landing, scheming and plotting bullshit.
Well, I also say that's the municipality's faults. The municipality, the CRC, for not enforcing these rules for the distance between dispensaries, because
Yeah, I'm
because
seeing that being just broken.
that is what's truly cannibalizing the industry, and what's causing everybody to have to be suffering, is because they're putting dispensaries on like either like two on a block sometimes,
2 on a block, they only approve.
three in like a 3 block, like a 2 block radius, 3 block radius each
And it's
other.
contradictory. They create a paradox within their own zoning. They'll say, all right, sometimes no cap in terms of how many you can have. You can have, but let's just say, okay, the cap is 5 dispensaries for the town. This is the approved ordinance, but the approved ordinance really only
Allows people to be in one
align.
section.
It equates to like 2 city blocks. If you wanted to put it in like actual just literal
Which is
distance. So you're just putting these beta fish in the same tank and making them fight it out intentionally.
which is insane because you don't do that to liquor stores.
No, liquor stores,
Liquor
as
stores
long
have
as
a
you're away
set-
for a residential
And
area.
not just that, but there's a set number of licenses
Right.
in a town. So like if there's only 3, there can never be a 4th.
Right.
Never. It's not possible. You can't take one from one town, bring it to another. The town can't add them. No, it's shut
If you
out.
want to open a liquor store, you got to either buy the existing liquor store or wait for that liquor store to close so you can put your liquor store there.
Or get lucky.
Yeah.
Really lucky. Why are we not doing the same? Like realistically, there's like Jersey City, cool. Big ass town. I get it. Cool. Section it by freaking ward. Your wards are more than large enough to section it like that and be like, cool. You can have X, Y, and Z per ward. If you did like 2 a ward, you wouldn't be doing this. You wouldn't be going through this shit right now. Like people wouldn't be, losing their livelihoods over stuff like this. It would be a lot easier, a lot more manageable. And then people would also realize, like, cool, like I can't just come here. It's oversaturated. And even then, they're still not listening. Like Plainfield just opened up another one.
I know.
After one just closed. Like Sanctuary closed, they were like, you know what?
I don't know.
Let's throw another one up in here.
I don't know if
bigger.
I don't know if it comes from like this fear of being wrong, because I guess being a regulatory body, you can't be seen as on loose legs, or you can't be seen as fallible as much because you're supposed to be seen as this specter of truth and knowledge, I guess. But at a certain point, I mean, you got to be able to admit when you were wrong about something. You got to be able to say, all right, this didn't work out the way we thought it was going to work out or hoped it would work out. Human nature did what it did in a way we just didn't think of when we made the ruling. Let's change it.
Well, that's why I'm hoping.
Why is that so hard for them, for people in general, to admit? Let's pivot. We clearly need to pivot. Let's make a pivot. We had to do a lot of fucking pivoting this week.
Well,
So if we're on this side of things and expected to, like we're saying, pivot the way we need to pivot whenever something comes up like this that we have to deal with, why is that? Why is that so ridiculous to ask that of the people who are pulling the strings?
Especially when we have to pivot the moment y'all jump and do something. The moment y'all say something, we gotta jump, do that shit immediately. If not, we're in trouble. But hopefully, I'm hoping with the new change in regime, part of the change in regime at the CRC,
Passing
we'll
of the
come with
baton.
an individual that actually has some type of like relevant experience in the industry, because that's the only way you're gonna get someone in there who's competent enough to be like, hey, maybe we should start talking to the people about this kind of stuff.
And I don't know if it's like, obviously we don't mean get some pothead in there who loves to smoke all the time. But even then,
But
obviously someone who's
been around
been
the block.
in the industry, literally working in either retail, cultivation, consultanting.
The best owners, in my opinions, of any company are the ones that have either A, actively done the work at one point in time, or B, are actively there all the time now. So it's either A, you started at one point and now you own it, and you started from the bottom, or B, you're out there, with your team every day, like in the store or on the ground. Clay Nine does a great job. Their owners are all out there all the time whenever they do an event. So just when you actually like see, um, there's another dispensary. Their owner is Mr. Jones.
Hmm.
The owner is one of the most active owners I've ever met in terms of like being a face, being boots on the
I
ground.
think it matters.
Like it makes a world of a difference
I
because
mean,
because those relationships you can cultivate from that, and then you're cultivating them at the highest level.
I mean, I know we didn't really have a choice. It was kind of just the circumstance we were put in when we first opened. But I think it's a good thing that, I mean, good. It put a lot of strain on everybody on the ownership team, but it's good that all of us, because we're family owned, family operated, but the ownership team, which feels like a very heady, corporate thing to say, but it's really just our family. Everyone had to be boots on the ground day in and day out, and we still are till this day because we've just been in that mode. The only person outside of the family who works here is you, and it was Kevin before that. But I mean, I think it's a good thing that not only because, yeah, it puts a face to the name of the store and everything like that, which is also a good thing, but more than that, it puts the people in charge who are in more desk job roles in the industry. It puts you in the know of when these numbers move from here to there and all these different things happen throughout the day of operating a facility, whether it be cultivation or retail. You know what that really means because you lived through it.
Like it's one thing if I do it,
Right.
but if you do it
Right.
as ownership or as someone who's actually like, who actually like, even if it's not Lucia, one of them, if it's like you or Cole,
That's why it's
someone
good.
who holds
Yeah.
definitely more weight than I do because you guys are part of the family. So it's like it's me it's a little different when you build those relationships on your own
Yeah.
and like build it from there because now these are things that like no one can take away from you. Like
No,
like
yeah.
the network you build is something that can benefit you greatly when it comes to like everybody I met previously really helped when I came here.
Yeah, that was like what we said, like on the first episode you were on, like those people you talk to, whoever they are, even if they're just like, if you're going in to make nice with the guys who are competition and you're going to shake their hand, talk to the bud tender, man. Talk to everybody in the store. You have no idea who that guy is going to be in this industry 2, 3 years down the line. Everybody, and this isn't like most retail where it's like where you see it as just like I just need this while I'm hoping to get this other job. You know what I mean? This is more common than not in normal entry level retail jobs where a lot of people who go into bud tending,
Toast was a bud tender at
they're looking to
Rise.
get somewhere. They're looking to get somewhere in the industry.
Like
Yeah. So I mean,
he's he's probably one of the biggest people in the industry now.
yeah. So it's everybody deserves their fair shake in that way of like pick everyone's brain because you never know how that's gonna flourish in
You
the
meet a
future.
lot of good people that
Yeah.
way.
Especially in this industry, especially like I think it might be by nature of how you have to become a fan or a frequenter of cannabis. You kind of have to become like a researcher in a way. Like you kind of have to have that investigative quality to you. So, I mean, I've found it tends to cultivate some more fluid, crackling minds than a lot of people would tend to believe.
You get a lot of good conversation out of people that like the ones who are in the industry and like really like know what they're talking about. You can get a lot of good conversation, pick up some things, learn some things that you didn't know. I most of the stuff I learned and everything else. Sometimes I don't know everything. But I'll sit there and talk to someone who just more knowledgeable about something than I am. I'll sit there and listen,
Yeah.
and it's like great, cool. I can now go back, use this later on. You know, it's it's just it matters a lot of how you you use your time, what you value as important.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
that's
Fake
definitely
it till you
something.
make it is all It's a great saying, but at a certain point,
You have to make it.
if you keep faking it, you're never gonna learn anything.
Yeah, you at some point you're gonna have to make it.
If you're constantly faking it and you never see the opportunity of, oh, I could learn something here. I'm gonna turn this off for a second. What did you just say? I hold on. Can we go back to that? Having the ability to, and even when, especially when you're coming up in the industry, like you might have people hit you with something like, oh, you know about this, don't you? And there's the urge to be like, oh yeah, yeah, totally. But what happens if they catch you on your bullshit in that moment? They go, really? What is it? What am I talking about? That's a scary moment. If you're in the faking it mode, you're like, uh, yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of going along with you.
Because once
You got to be able to say, no, tell me about that.
yeah, once you get checked, sometimes it's better to just be like, hey, you know, like sit, listen, know when to shut up.
You never learn anything with your mouth open.
My mom always told me God gave you 2 eyes to see twice as much. God gave you 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth, so you can see and listen twice as much as you talk.
Unless you're in Greek mythology and you got one eye.
Oh,
You got to listen a little more. You're a Cyclops,
I mean,
Polyphemus.
I mean, it's a big eye, so like, you know, you do
But
see a
it's
lot.
still one orifice.
Yeah, but you see a lot
Single.
with that big eye, like.
Some people got big mouths. This conversation's
Pause.
over.
Pause.
This conversation is over. Well, look, I mean,
Oh man,
it needed to be said. We wouldn't have been able to have a podcast if we didn't bring it up. I'm glad we cleared our minds as far as that's concerned. But I mean,
yeah, it's just one of those things that it's going to happen in the industry. It's unfortunate. I understand that it's necessary, but like in this case, it was not necessary.
I understand the impetus. I understand the urge to protect yourself in that way, especially like we said last week. There's this gold rush mentality still, and when people see that fading, they panic, and that panic leads to irrational action here and there. But I mean, you got to be careful how you pick up that phone.